Travis. He is watching Spider-Man.
Gameplay walkthrough.
Okay, so the reason why I am recording today, don't mind me, I am in my pajamas and my hair is tied, but I wanted to record my experience. So today is period, sis. My sis Ashley just texted me. Today is November 18 and it is currently 8:06 p.m. It looks like it's midnight outside because it's daylight savings. So, the reason why I'm recording this is because I've been going through a lot of things lately. And I think I should just go ahead and document it. I've been actually thinking about this for a couple of days. Just documenting my experience. Don't mind my nails. They look crusty and dusty. But I'm trying to save money for Christmas. So what's up? Let me update you guys. So about a month ago, I had picked up my niece and everything was good. We were having a good old time. She slept over. Well, me and my sister, we went to get food, and then afterwards I took Jelani home with me, and Jelani slept over here, and we had like a good old time, and everything was good. We went to the beach and all that stuff, and we had a lot of fun. She enjoyed it. I had pictures and videos of her at the beach. I even have like one of the seashells that she collected. It's on my table. I actually have another one in my car. But we had a good old time, and later on that night, we were sleeping in the bed, and in the middle of the night, my head just started hurting. So that was kind of odd for me. My head was hurting, and it was hurting really bad. So it got to the point where it was hurting so bad that I couldn't even really fake sleep anymore. So I had got up that night. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning to take 2 ibuprofens. And the ibuprofens didn't really work. Didn't do anything. So later on that day, I didn't want to take them too closely together. Later on that day, maybe at like noon-ish, I took 2 more ibuprofens because my head still did not stop hurting. And then when I realized that the ibuprofens were not hurting, I was thinking to myself, maybe I have a migraine. So I went to CVS across the street and I bought this Advil migraine, and I took 2 of those that evening after I dropped Jelani off at home, or to her mom. I took 2 of those, and the Advil didn't work. It didn't work, so I started to get a little worried because I don't really get headaches like that, and for the headache to last all day without stopping, I was very concerned. So I went to sleep, went to work the next day, and my head was still hurting. And I can't remember, because it was a month ago, I can't remember if it was that same day or the next day, but the headache continued consecutively. And I think either that Monday or Tuesday. No, there was no school on Monday. It was some type of holiday. And so that Tuesday when I went to work, my head was still hurting. So I was like asking my mom, what does she think I should do? Should I go to the hospital, or like should I go see urgent care or whatever? And everyone was saying go to urgent care, but to me I was like, I don't want to go to urgent care because I don't want them to brush me off saying like it was just a headache. And so I went and I took my behind to the hospital, to the emergency room, and guess what they did at the emergency room? Exactly what I did not want the urgent care to do. They see me, they let me sit in triage. They didn't even do no scans, they didn't do nothing because I guess they were just so busy and they couldn't talk to me. They let me sit in triage. They gave me this little caffeine pill. They said, oh, it should work, whatever. They treated for this a good treatment for migraines, and yada yada yada. I took the pill and it helped a little bit. So they gave me a little prescription, and I had to take 4 a day because it was not strong enough to work. So I was taking it 4 times a day for like a couple of days, And when I started realizing, okay, this is not really doing anything for me, I went and I tried to see it. Well, at the hospital, they also recommended that regardless, I should probably see a neurologist. So I was like, okay, cool. So I went online to see, like, do I have a primary care doctor? Is there someone that I could see about this? So I found my primary care doctor, and I was not able to get an appointment with this lady for like a week. Like, the day I called her, I had the appointment the next week. So when I went in to see her, I explained what was going on with me, and she basically was able to do some tests. She did a blood test, and she did a urine sample so that they could check like my kidneys, and they could check thyroid, and they could check if I got diabetes, cholesterol, yada yada yada. So there was, I did that day, and then she recommended I take an MRI. So the next week, so now we're in week 3 of headaches, consecutive headache. The next week, I went and I got my MRI done. I was a little bit nervous because I've never done anything like that before, but it wasn't that bad. The only thing is my MRI was at like 11:30. It was at like 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock at night. And it was about 30 minutes. The procedure took about 30 minutes. And so around like around 10:45-ish is when I was done. And they told me that a radiologist would come out and talk to me about what the scan showed. So I'm just sitting there waiting. Mind you, I'm very cold because I was wearing shorts and like a t-shirt because it was 10:30 at night. And I was sitting in the office sitting in the radiology office by myself. It's very cold. It's very late at night. I was already like a little bit nervous because I started having issues with my vision. So I'm sitting there. An hour go by. No one come out and talk to me. So I go up to the lady at the front desk and I asked her like, okay, can I go home? Can someone call me and tell me the results? Because I do have to go to work the next day. And she was like, oh, we're trying to get in contact with your doctor. We can't leave you until like they basically said you're good to go home and we'll call you. So I'm like, okay. And I was sitting there just waiting. And then I guess someone from my doctor's office, my doctor didn't answer because she wasn't there at 11 o'clock at night, but someone from the office was able to get in contact with them, and they spoke a little bit, and it was like, yeah, your doctor will call you tomorrow. I said, okay. And then the next day I went to work, and I went to work and explained to my job what was going on. That's a whole nother story. Explained to my job what was going on, and in the middle, I explained to my job what was going on, and that day I had went home early because my head was just doing the most. It was doing the most. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stay. So that day I went home. Mind you, I'm a school teacher, so my duty hours are from 7:15 to 2:45. I got to work at 7:15, and I think I was home by 7:45. So I couldn't do it. So as soon as I got home, I was laying down or whatever, and my doctor called me around 9 o'clock in the morning, and she just on the phone, the MRI shows that you have a mass on your brain and that it's causing swelling, so we're going to put you on these medications, and we need you to come in so we can talk about it. So I'm like, okay. So she prescribed the medications, and I start taking the medication, and and then I go into her office. She explains she explains what happens, and then she told me I need to see a neurologist. So they refer me to the neurologist, and I go to the neurologist the next day. So I go to the neurologist, and he basically reiterates what she says, and said that they found a mass on like the right side of my brain, and that it's causing swelling, and that I'm high risk for seizure. So I'm taking anti-inflammatory medication and seizure medication to prevent seizures. So I'm like, okay, this is happening quickly. Okay, so I'm like trying to take it in. I cry a little bit. I call my family, and they cry a little bit. And so find out I have like a mass on my brain that is causing swelling, that is also affecting my vision. So I'm having like double vision, and I'm also having a sensitivity to light. along with the headache. So my neurologist now recommends that I take a second MRI with contrast so they can see if the mass is taking up the dye, so they can see if it's growing or if it's shrinking or what's going on with it. So after that, I scheduled an appointment for the next MRI for the following week. So I'm just, coping or absorbing the information that I'm given. I went and I took the second MRI last week, and it was not too bad or whatever. Mind you, I'm still going to work. I just, like, every time I have a doctor's appointment or something like that, I just take off for that day. And I'm not even going to get into my job. Just know my job is... But I'm grateful to have a job during this pandemic. So I'm going to be quiet about that. So I had the second MRI, and they told me that they would give my doctor the results in like 24 to 48 hours. So I was like, okay. And so I'm just like chilling, waiting for somebody to call me, because they usually call me and tell me what it was or whatever. And no one called me. So I was checking my voicemails sometime last week. I think it was like last week, Thursday or Friday. I checked my voicemail, and the only voicemail that I had was from my neurologist's office. So I called them back. I'm not even sure when they actually called me, but I called them, and it was like, oh yeah, we could set you up an appointment for Monday. And I'm like, for Monday? It's Friday. I can't take work off. Like, I can't just take work off. Like, I have to have time to get off of work. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna call you back when I'm gonna check my schedule and see if I have a better time that I can come. So Monday come and go. Monday, I get to work. When I get on lunch, I try to call them. They're not there because they were at lunch. Tuesday, I try to call them again. They're not there. They're at lunch. So I'm like, okay, I really need to talk to them. So I'm going to call them after school. As soon as I call them after school, they'll say, yeah, you can come in tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's what we're doing. So that was yesterday. This morning, I had the appointment at 8:15. So I took 2 hours off at work. And then I went to the neurologist, and that's when he decided to tell me that they had already scheduled surgery for me because the contrast was showing that the mass was absorbing it. So that means whatever is there is growing, or it has the potential to grow. So I'm like, surgery. Yeah, so that's where I'm at now. But so today was a very hectic day because, like I said, I did take only 2 hours off of work. So I had the neurologist appointment where they told me that information. Then I went to work. And then afterwards, I had to go see my primary care doctor to do other lab work to get like a pre-screening for surgery to make sure that I am okay for surgery. So I did that, and then my primary care doctor sent me to get an x-ray. So then I had to go to another doctor's office to get an x-ray. And that's that. So I have another follow-up appointment on Tuesday to get my approval, I guess, for the surgery. Then my surgery will be on Tuesday. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and just keep recording just so that I can keep, track of my progress and stuff like that. As of right now, I am not feeling nervous or anything. Actually, I feel, me and Travis, we had this conversation. I feel like everything is just happening so quickly that I don't really have time to worry. And I feel like everything is everything looks like it's like in alignment. Like, I feel like God knew what he was doing when he did it like this, because obviously I, like with my job, for instance, my job, I was worried that I didn't have enough time off to request the time off to recover if I needed it. But the way that this is happening is perfect. Like, it's perfect exactly how it should be. God is doing his thing, because I have the whole week off next week. So I have all of next week off. I only have to request the 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, and then I have Christmas and New Year's weeks off. So I cannot complain. Like, there's nothing for me to complain about. Nothing. I'm grateful. I am grateful that I have doctors. I am grateful that I have a job. I'm grateful that I have insurance. I am grateful that I can receive the treatment that I need quickly. I'm grateful that in the last month, my head was hurting, and this month I'm having surgery to remove what was hurt. I can't even speak. But what I was trying to say is I'm grateful that just last month I was complaining about my head hurting, and this month I'm getting surgery to remove what was bothering me in the first place. Like, who else gonna do that but God? Where'd I do that at, baby?
What happened?
Only God, right?
Yes.
Only God.
Yes.
Only God can do that. So I forgot to mention that I had picked up Excedrin after I realized that the little caffeine thing was not doing nothing for me. Mm-hmm. The Excedrin worked way better than the caffeine thing.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so what was the reason that you had to go to the primary doctor to go?
So I had to go to a primary care doctor to get referred to a neurologist.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, because that's what they told you at the hospital. You might need to see a neurologist.
Yes, so that was the only benefit of going to the hospital.
That's what started it off.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, you're moving real fast since like when you picked up Jelani.
I know, and my camera is about to die, but I just want to let y'all know that I feel great. All of my tests. All of my tests came back great, except for the little something. But besides that, everything came back healthy. I am doing good. I am in a good mood. I am grateful, and I am blessed.